Hello, welcome to Fightmaster Yoga. I'm Lesley Fightmaster, and today's class is Yoga Stretch, 20 minutes. Hello. So we're going to start sitting up nice and tall. Close your eyes, root down through your sitting bones, and lengthen away from the floor. Get really tall through your body, through your spine. Let's bring our hands together in front of the heart, setting an intention. May our practice help us to become more flexible, and not only in our bodies, but also in our minds, both on and off of our mats. And then add any intention you would like. And now grab 2 blocks. If you have them, you can also roll up towels, blankets. One block goes right at the bottom, tips of the shoulder blades. That's right where I pointed on my back. The other one underneath your head. And then let the soles of your feet come together and your knees drop apart. If that's too intense on your legs, you can always extend your legs forward or bend the knees, feet on the floor. So breathing here, we're just opening the upper back, so stretching out in the upper back a bit. And you'll notice here my head is a little bit higher than my body. And you can play around in a moment. I'm going to go a little bit lower with my head, and that will bring a bigger stretch in my upper back. Continue steady breathing. And release any tension in the jaw, the shoulders, and now moving the block underneath my head down a notch. And it gives me a bigger stretch in the upper back. So this is a great class to do anytime. Before bed is wonderful. You could do it in the morning. You could do it before you go and do another workout, or you could do it after another workout. It's just always good to stretch. Continue steady breathing. We're just going to stay for a few more breaths. Just that upper back, that part where the bottom tips of the shoulder blades go, it's actually your thoracic spine, tends to get a little bit tight. So this is one nice way to start to open it up. To come out of this, just bring your hands by your hips and press yourself up off of your blocks. And then grab your strap or anything, if you got a belt or a tie, whatever you've got. Come back onto your back, bend your right knee in toward your chest, circle your right ankle in one direction, and then circle it in the other direction. Make sure the left leg's extended, the toes point up. If that's too much, you can always bend the left knee foot on the floor. Take the strap to the ball of your right foot and extend that right leg up. Now draw your right hip forward toward the front of your mat. So you can even use your right thumb to pull it forward, and then just hold the strap in the right hand. And straighten out the leg as much as you can, which means you could always make the strap longer if it's hard to straighten out the leg. We do want to stretch out the hamstrings here, and this is a great way to do it. Just take a couple more breaths. Make sure your shoulders stay relaxed. And then take your left hand onto the top of your left thigh. As you exhale, start to open the right leg to the right. Make sure the left hip doesn't pop up. And then turn to look over the left shoulder. So if your left hip pops up off the floor, just pause, come out of the stretch a little bit, ground it back down, and move from there. It's always good to move from a place of stability. We want our body stable before we stretch it out. That's the safest way. Take a couple more breaths. And then inhale, center, switch hands with your strap, and exhale, take the leg off to the left, look over the right shoulder. Now, as best you can, try and keep your upper back onto the floor, and turn your belly up toward the ceiling. Take a few more breaths here. Or maybe just one. Come back to center. Lift your head and shoulders up. Draw your knee toward your nose for 3 breaths. Stretch it out a little more, 2. And 1. Release it. And just take the strap off for a moment. Extend the right leg next to the left, noticing the difference. And then draw the left knee into the chest, circling the left ankle in one direction. and then reverse it. And then grab your strap, put it on the ball of the left foot, extending the left leg up. And then holding the strap in the right hand for a moment, draw the left hip forward. You could use your left thumb if you like, and then hold the strap in the left hand. Make sure the right toes stay pointed up toward the ceiling so you're flexing that right ankle. And also flex the left ankle to make sure your left leg stays engaged. We want to firm the muscles to the bone. Relax any tension in the neck and the shoulders. And just go as deeply into the stretch as you need to in order to feel the stretch. You want to be comfortable. I don't want you just on fire with pain ever in yoga. Take your right hand onto the top of the right hip. As you exhale, start to open the left leg to the left. And again, if the right hip pops up, ground it down. Moving from that place of stability. And then turn to look over the right shoulder as long as it doesn't bother your neck. And breathe here. Again, relaxing shoulders and jaw. And try to keep the inhales and the exhales equal in length. And one more breath here. As you take your inhale, bring the leg back to center. Switch hands with the strap holding in the right hand. As you exhale, take it over toward the right side. Look over the left shoulder and then work to turn your belly up toward the ceiling as you twist. And take really long breaths. This pose, it's called Supta Padangusthasana variations, and it's really good for your digestion as well as stretching the hamstrings. So when you do the twist part, that's a great way to stimulate your digestive process. Inhale back to center. As you exhale, lift your head and shoulders up. Draw the leg in for 3 breaths. Draw the belly in for 2. And slowly release. And put the strap off to the side. And hug your knees into your chest. And gently rock yourself side to side. Give your low back a little massage. And now take happy baby. Take the little toe sides of the feet as you draw your sitting bones toward the floor. So you're stretching out your back. And if you can't reach the feet, hold the legs. Now keep your right leg as is. Extend your left leg out onto the floor for half happy baby. So we're getting a little bit deeper into the hips here. Stretching out our hips. Those can get tight from sitting in chairs. Now bend the left knee, take the right ankle just past the left knee and draw your legs in, holding the left shin or behind the thigh. Continue to draw your right hip forward as you breathe here. And again, just let everything else relax. You can stay with that, or you could cross your right knee on top of the left, going in a little deeper, holding onto the feet or legs. This is like Gomukhasana, legs upside down. And then release back to happy baby. And now we'll keep the left leg as it is and extend the right leg out onto the floor. Point the right toes up to the ceiling and breathe here. Again, relaxing the shoulders and the jaw. Now bend the right knee, take the left ankle across for thread the needle. Keep drawing that left hip forward, holding onto the right shin or hold behind the thigh. So you get a good stretch in the hip, in the left hip especially. And if you want a deeper stretch, you can cross your left knee over the right knee and reaching down to hold the feet like handlebars, or you could hold on to the legs. Continue to draw your tailbone toward the floor and just notice how that could increase the stretch in the hips. Release that. Hug knees into chest and roll yourself back and forth. If that doesn't feel right, just roll to the right side and press up. That's fine too. Otherwise, rock and roll up to seated and coming forward onto hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under the hips. Inhale, drop the belly, lift your chin and tailbone up. And just pausing a moment, just really let the belly drop. Exhale, round the back, chin toward chest. And again, inhale, bring the heart forward, lift your chin and tailbone up. And exhale, round the back, press away from the floor, chin toward chest. And again, inhale to come forward, widen across your collarbones. And exhale, rounding the back. And then come to neutral spine. And bring your right foot forward between your hands. Right knee over ankle. Pull the right hip back and down. And then reach the arms up. Try to lift your hip bones up towards your lower ribs to lessen the arch in the lower back. Stretch up through arrow straight arms. We're stretching out the left hip flexor mostly. Grab your block, take your left hand on it, and reach back for your right foot. Sinking hips forward, but keep pulling the left hip back. And try to lift the right hip pulls back. Try to lift the left hip away from the floor. Release that. Walk your right foot to the right a little bit. Bring your hands on the inside. Inhale. Exhale. You can stay with your hands on the floor or maybe forearms on a block. Or if you're real flexible, you could even do forearms on the floor. Continue to draw the left hip back. And make sure that your upper back isn't rounding, and gently draw your your right knee in toward your right shoulder. Having trouble with words today. Come on back up. And then reach both arms up. Bend your right elbow, right hand toward the upper back. Then left arm out to the left and clasp your hands. Hold your shirt or use your strap. Roll the left shoulder back. Spin right tricep forward. Now tuck your back toes. This is optional. Stay where you are, or you can exhale, lift the knee off the floor, but keep the hips low. Inhale, lower it. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. It's a big stretch in the psoas muscles. Now hands on either side of the front foot, and now we'll straighten the leg. Exhale, fold over your straight front leg. Keep drawing the right hip back as we stretch out the hamstrings again. Just a couple breaths or one breath, and then back to table. Now we'll step the left foot forward, knee over ankle, draw the left hip back, inhale, reach arms up. Try to lift up through your back ribs and draw your front ribs down. So again, you're not overarching, so don't want to overarch like that. Pull the ribs in, lift up through the back ribs, lift hip bones toward low ribs. Spin triceps forward and relax around the neck. And grab your block, take it to the inside of your left foot, put your hand on it, reach back for the foot. If that's too much, you don't need to do it. You can stay with the low lunge instead. It's a pretty big stretch. Continue to pull the left hip back and lift your right hip up. Releasing. Now we'll walk the left foot to the left, a little hands on the block on the inside of the left leg, or you can take your forearms down on the block, or like I said before, if you're real flexy, take your forearms to the floor. Continue drawing left hip back and keep a nice long spine. Try not to let your upper back round here. Lead with the chest and gently press your left knee in towards your left shoulder. Inhale, come on up. Left hip pulling back. Now, left arm up, bend the left elbow. Bring your right arm out to the side, clasp or hold your shirt, and roll your right shoulder back. Keep the left knee over the ankle. Keep pulling the ribs in. And then again, you can option to tuck the back toes under and lift up. And then straightening your front leg and fold over that straight front leg. Keep pulling left hip back. A couple more breaths here. Or maybe just a one and come to plank and slowly lower all all the way down to the floor. Inhale, little baby cobra. Pull your shoulders away from the ears and then interlace fingers. Reach knuckles toward heels and then lift the legs from the inner thighs. Spin them up toward the ceiling. Lengthen sitting bones toward heels. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. And then rest. You can take your forehead onto your forearms, or you can take one ear down. Hands by low ribs again, little cobra. And then sweep the arms back and put the other pinky on top. Lift up, roll shoulder heads back, lift the legs from the inner thighs. Again, sitting bones toward heels, hip bones toward low ribs. Keep the back of your neck nice and long. And then lower down. One more, lift up. This time, if you'd like, you can reach for the little toe sides of the feet. You don't have to. Lifting up and pressing back into Dhanurasana, or you can stay with Shalabhasana. Keep pulling your belly away from the floor. And then slowly release it. Well done. Nice work. Bring hands by low ribs, little cobra on your inhale. And then press up and back into child's pose. Take the hips back toward the heels. You can extend the arms forward like I have, or you can rest your head on your hands. And then back up onto the knees. Let's come into down dog. Take your feet as wide as the mat. Take your hands as wide as the mat. You could even hold on to the sides of the mat with your hands and stretch back. So you get a really long stretch through your spine, through your hamstrings, through your calves, even your ankles and heels. Just make it a nice, good, juicy stretch. And then looking forward, walk your hands to shoulders distance, feet to hips width, stretch back just for a breath. Keep the ribs and belly pulled in, look forward, and step or hop through to seated. And then onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. And then take your feet down to the floor and start to lengthen sitting bones towards backs of heels and let your feet flop open, arms by your sides, palms up. Close your eyes. Shavasana, quiet mind and quiet body. I'll be back in just a moment while you rest. As you're resting just a little bit longer, our quote comes from the Tao Te Ching today. Bend and you will be whole. Curl and you will be straight. Keep empty and you will be filled. Grow old and you will be renewed. Start to make some movements in your fingers and your toes. Start to stretch out through the arms and the legs. Nice long stretch. And bend your knees. Roll yourself off down to your right side. Take a moment to revisit your intention and thank yourself for taking your practice. We'll slowly press up, bring the hands together in front of the heart, and we'll bring hands to forehead to remind us to have clear and loving thoughts. Our hands to the heart center, reminding us to have clear and loving intentions. And then our hands to the mouth to remind us to have clear and loving communication, sending positive energy to all beings everywhere. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. And don't forget to push the like button and subscribe and go to fightmasteryoga.com. We have so many awesome retreats and workshops coming up and teacher training. I would love, love, love to see you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.